Today I'm going to put together this church box card, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. This is a file I did many years ago, but I wanted to revive it a little bit with a different, more contrast. I like the card. It's something that you can put a tea light when you send it, and it'll shine through the windows. But it needed a little bit of work because it was one of my earlier designs, and a refresh. So I found, before we get started, I found this like digital paper on Creative Fabrica. I think I looked for a white plank, so it was kind of hard to find. But anyways, I did that. So the panels, I printed that out. I just adjusted the size of the planks. It's a seamless pattern, so you can make it as big as small. And then I made some color changes from the original file. So if you do own this, you want to go and download the updated file from wherever you purchased it. And then it's on my website. As of today, it'll only be on my website, but it'll soon be on Creative Fabrica. So we have all the pieces. I've already prepped some of them, so we're going to piece a little bit. We put the vellum, so I have a little like light yellow vellum that I printed, that I put the pieces glued on to the back. So we're going to glue a couple of those on. And you can see I already did one side, placing these. So I did try to make this, I was thinking that would look better in brown, but it actually looks better in white. So you can always change the color of these. So based on what you want. So to attach the let's go ahead and do that really quick. Attach the vellum. So you want to flip these upside down. So I'm using textured paper, so I want to make sure the textured paper is upside down. Not sure if you can really see it. And I'm just going to go ahead, and the vellum piece is just slightly smaller than this is. So this way you won't see the vellum on the inside. So a lot of designers select to put it on the inside of something, but since this box is meant to be displayed up with a tea light behind it, I didn't want it to show behind. So we want it kind of clean. So I'm using Barely Art glue today. Again, always validate that I'm not putting glue on the textured side. And I'm using American Crafts texture cardstock. So I'm just going to go ahead and I just put it as close to the bottom as possible. And then I'm just going to move it around to make sure. You'll notice why I don't put the glue really close to the edge is so if I have a little wiggle room, so if I wiggle it, it won't show in the middle. Okay, so that was why I do that. And then there's two little ones, so you can see this one's already on there. So we're just going to go lightly. So just a thin amount around the area. I don't put it on this because inevitably I might put it in the wrong place. So there it is. So now that we have these all ready, so now that we have all these ready, we'll go ahead and put these other two here. So how I match it up is, so these are the sides. These will go over here. Like that. So how I line them up, let's just move that out of my way. Just add glue around the edge. And then if you want to make sure that the opening lines up, this is what I do. I can see through the vellum a little bit. So I'm going to line it up towards the bottom. And I just made sure I didn't put glue too close to the edge. I'm going to flip it over and see if I can see any of the white through, the white edges. And I don't, so I have it in the right place. So let me show you one that's not glued yet. So if you put it on off, you'll see little bits like that. See that? How you can see through that? So if you want to line it up so you don't see any of that coming through like that. So we'll do the second one. And that's helpful if, let's just say, you're doing maybe something that's not as translucent that you can't see through. You can kind of watch it from the other side. So I just put that on lightly, and then I'm adjusting it a little bit. And then for these, put those to the side. They'll do the same thing on the large piece with these larger frames. Like that. So once we have these on and we put this, you're going to see it just light like that. So you could actually make these different colors if you wanted to look stained glass as well. I think I saw somebody do that once with this card. Like I said, this card's been around, but it just needed a little TLC. So I just thought I'd do another video. Oops. Don't want to glue it on there. Now you could, if you didn't want the panels, just do it directly on there. But I wanted a little texture. So now that we have these on there, I'm going to line this up. So the previous version, not that you need to know, but for those that might have the previous version, this now is the size of the front panel, side panel. So it used to have a little border around the edge, but I felt like that just didn't look right with the church. So it's kind of bothered me for a while. Been kind of coming back and forth to this design since I designed it, and I think it's 2017, or it could have been 18. So we're going to line this up. And if you get it lined up at the top and the bottom, the windows will line up just fine. So this is best to put it on before you assemble the card. And it's not your traditional box card because, like I said, it's going to open. There's no real middle in it. The middle is just room enough to put a tea light. And then if you have done it, I did change some colors a little bit around. So we're going to put this, carefully getting glue around the edges here. We're going to line up the windows. And this does have a little bit of an edge. So you may have to, has a little bit of a border. As you can see, it lines up on the bottom. And then these fold out if you want. So if you want a different look, I kind of made put that on crooked. Just a little slightly crooked, but not much. The glue's drying quickly today. Okay, so let's do the second one. You do have to pay careful, close attention. I'm just going to flip it upside down so I can see it. It's at a weird angle because of that, just recording the video. You can see through there. So that was had a little bit of an edge that you can see, but this one's on really nice. And then you want to center this piece. I didn't change everything about this card, just a couple little things. And then we're going to center it above the doorways. And make sure you don't overlap the cut. You can see that there's a little bit of edge right there. And these open. So if you want to fold them, you can kind of train them. And then the same thing with these two panels. You can go ahead and line them up. So it's a pretty simple card. Let's go ahead and line it up. So if you wanted to get a better like clean, so this matched on the side of the house, on the side of the house, the church, you could do a print and cut with those two pieces to the right and left. I just didn't do that. So they're not lined up. But when you open it, you don't really notice like that. If you do like this project or any projects, I always ask if you give me a little thumbs up or like on the video and or subscribe to my channel. And you can hit the notification bell to be notified if we have new releases or when we have new releases. I say if because I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be doing this. So now this is one of my few box cards you can pretty much put everything on. So we're going to go ahead. I have to make a decision here. I'm going to put that on. So you just want to add glue. You can see how it goes on like this. Like that. So we're going to go ahead and just add glue here. And then I'm going to line it up at the peak. So this should just line up to the edge here on each side. I'm flipping it over to make sure. Now you don't want to glue it down here because when you open it, you want it to be like this. So you can't add glue to these pieces. So I had to stop the video for a minute because I didn't cut out the new version. So this is the new version of the bell. The last one didn't have the bell shape and it made it hard to install or to assemble. So we're just going to line this up. So earlier you could have seen a different version because I accidentally cut out the old version. And then this black piece on top. It's kind of hard to see which side is the texture side. Just lined it up like that. Just a little detail. I'm going to get a little tool here to push this up for me. So we can't put this on yet because we want to hide the tabs inside. So this will be done after we get the card together. So we'll put those on. Actually, we can put these on at least. So these go on like that. So again, just glue this edge. Like this. I'm going to get this little corner lined up here. So I'm lining this corner right there to that corner right here. And then it's just going to be super simple after this. Just have a couple more steps. Getting excess glue cleaned off my tip here. And just line it up. So it's all ready to go. Oops. Just pulled it right off. So it's not a perfect card, but it's one I did a long time ago. I didn't change it that much, like I said. I could have really gone all out. Still took, unfortunately, a couple hours to do, believe it or not. Seems very simple, I know. So let's go ahead and just flatten it out like this. We'll add glue to this tab. Go a little higher here. The important part is you want to get that upside down like that. So we want to line that up. And then we can flip it over and just do that. So go ahead and fold that over. And make sure you don't bend these, the roof pieces. Just go fold it over. So it's not a typical box card. Make sure it's flat. So let's go ahead and put this in here. So right here is slightly smaller than the back. You can see from the front, that's what it's going to look like open. Let's go ahead and add glue to this. You want to be careful when you slide it in. But then we can flatten it. But now what this does is, so you're only adding glue to the back of the panel. So what this does will hide those tabs. So whoever you send it to won't see the tabs. Or if you make it for yourself. So we're going to line it up like that. And you can see it lines up at the top. So once you get it in place, you can go ahead and flatten it and just add a little bit of pressure. So last thing is just to add the cross. So the original file I had the cross in white, which was hard to see. I kind of want to get a little contrast, so you can make it any color you want, obviously. Mix it. So let me see if I can get a shot of it with tea light. Okay, so here's the card flattened. So it'll fit into an A7 envelope. I'm going to add a tea light. Like that. So that's what you can always put a note on it to explain what it's for. But you see I now have a little light coming in, how it glows through. So it'll glow through the windows. So you can always put your own sentiment on it, you know, something like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project, and I thank you so much for watching.